Hey guys, it's Alex here, and I'm here with a another sort of investigation into Football Manager. Um, so yeah, I'll run you through the idea of this. So I was sitting there, and obviously with the Cup coming up, there's all the sort of big hype on who the players are going and just everything about the players and everything about the World Cup. But I was sitting there and I was thinking, what would actually happen if the World Cup players didn't come back from Brazil. So like the Brazil, they just stay. They decided they've had enough of the football life. They've got enough money. Decided to stay in Brazil, retire, and see what happens. So this is what I've done with this investigation. I have taken out every player from the 23-man squads for the World Cup. They are the preliminary 23-man squads, I think, without the injury. So, like, the likes of Royce have been taken out, even though he won't be playing in the World Cup due to his injury. And there are a few players that aren't actually in the database that I couldn't have deleted. There's like one from Cameroon, a few from another country, like Iran maybe. There's a lot from Japan just because the licensing that the players like aren't in the database, but mostly it's very sort of similar. So I've actually started the game up, loaded up without the players in, um, and I've loaded up the 5 leagues and gone through 1 year. So I'm gonna go through the leagues and show you what happens to the leagues. So if we look Serie A first, if we look here, Roma won it. Um, so normally you'd have this sort of like Juventus winning it, and they're not in seventh. So we've got Roma, Fiorentina, Genoa, Udinese, Sampdoria, Milan, and Juventus. Serie A actually have quite a big number of people in the World Cup. I think they have 81 in their league, and the biggest two are Juventus and Napoli. They would have 12 people, so it kind of looks like it affected them quite a lot. Their players going. Roma only had 5 players going to the World Cup. So if we look at their squad, um, you see, you got Bolzaretti still, Dodo, Kevin Strootman still in just because he was injured for the World Cup. Destro still there, Totti still there, Benatia. But if you look at the likes of Juventus and their squad, look, they've got a really small squad. They've still got Tevez, obviously, Vucinic and Llorente, and which is actually not too bad with Osvaldo there and Ogbonna, and they actually have quite a good team. But like the depth of the squad is gone. Like you got Pirlo missing, you got Chiellini missing, you got Buffon missing. Quite big players for them. And then if you look at Napoli, also they have quite a lot of their squad missing too. So they've sort of gone up with the backups there. See, so they didn't have the best seasons. That means in Italy, Roma actually took the title, and Juventus and Napoli didn't get Europe, which is very weird. Um, I think that was main sort of stuff to go on. If you look at the player stats, I guess Matri for Fiorentina did well. Sort of like the players that didn't get are good but didn't get into the World Cup squad because they're in such like high nations. So there we go for that. But next, I guess we should look at. Let's go to France. So Ligue 1 or League, however you want to say it. They actually have quite a few out of the main 5. They have the fewest World Cup players. They have 47 going, 10 coming from PSG, and as you can see there, it has affected them a lot. Lyon in the end win the title, with Monaco coming second. If you look at their squad, largely unaffected by their players going, just because the most of them are French, but they aren't the best French. PSG down in 10th. Like what? They got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer playing, not playing, managing them. But as you can see, they have Sirigu come out. They still have Alex. They don't have Pogba. Um, I don't know why I said they have Pogba. Pogba is French. But they still got Zlatan, which is pretty good. But quite a few of their players are gone. So to be fair, I didn't think them for them to be going 10th just with 10 players leaving. But obviously, it's affected them a lot. Monaco, then Lorient, Marseille, Toulouse, but PSG dropped out a lot there. How how quickly was Laurent Blanc sacked? He was sacked in February. So yeah, big stuff going on in France. PSG really dropping out there. Um, then we go to Germany, I guess. First division. They have 73 players from the league going, and Bayern actually have the most. They have 15 players from their squad going. So that would probably would have affected them most. And as you can see, it has affected them the most. FC Bayern in ninth place. Leverkusen won the league in the end. So they kept a lot of their good players. Like they got Lena, they got Emre Can, Reinhardt, Castro, Keebling, Sydney Sam. So like the players that aren't good enough for the World Cup but still quality players. So they kept them. Freiburg out of nowhere finished second, which I don't know how they've done. They've got a very young squad there. Dortmund didn't do too bad, I have to say, for their squad, but they do like Lewandowski's Polish, Mkhitaryan, he's Armenian, Gundogan didn't get into the German squad along with Bender, Subotic, Błaszczykowski and Piszczek. So they've sort of got the good thing that they have players from nationalities that don't go into the World Cup. So like Aubameyang, from Gabon. So they have a lot of, like the Polish and all that didn't get in, which is pretty good for them. But if you look at Bayern, like they they did not have a good season this year. Look at their goalkeeper. They don't have Neuer. So they got Tom Stark. Don't have either of their set. They got Badstuber. They got Alaba left because he's Austrian. They got Thiago left. They got Ribery, who was rolled out injured. They got Mamed Diouf. I think they signed him. So they got Schweinsteiger. They got no, the different Schweinsteiger, I think. Pizarro, Nicholas Horn. But if you look at that compared to the first team, you like got the likes of Dante missing, Luis Gustavo, Mandzukic. They got, well, not Lewandowski, I was going to say, but they've just like every one of their players is gone. Robin's gone, Lahm's gone, Schweinsteiger's gone. Obviously Neuer. It's just they've got decimated this year. So it's going to see. I want to see how they rebound and go on. Like Lewandowski, obviously top goal scorer with Keebling behind him. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do this for a few years actually to see whether these clubs can recover from this bad year or two when their like star players go out. Next up is Spain actually, and to be fair, Real Madrid did have 12 players missing, but they did still win the league. Barca had 13, didn't do so well, sitting in fourth, and Atletico not doing too bad. So Spain wasn't affected that badly, which kind of shows how dominant these teams are. That they can lose so many players and still do well. But look at that, they got Diego Lopez, Dani Carvajal, they got Ilir Mendy, Casemiro, uh, Lucas, Isco, Jesse. Um, Still got Gareth Bale because he's Welsh, so I guess that's pretty good there. Got Morata, so they have a really good backup to there. Atletico Madrid coming second. They've quite a few going, like Diego Costa, but not generally the main people of their squad. Like Courtois gone, but he was Chelsea's player anyway. Real Sociedad actually, though, jumped into third because they have quite a few players that aren't there. But Barcelona did get hit quite hard, so they have like Busquets out. They got Iniesta, Xavi, Neymar, Messi. All of them are gone. So if you look at their strike force, they got Timo Werner. I think they signed him from signed him from Stuttgart. They needed to sign him because they didn't have anyone, and they got Christian Teo, Denis Suarez, and Isaac Cuenca. So obviously their strike force has been depleted, definitely there. But yeah, finally though, onto the interesting part, the English Premier Division. So the Premier Division has the most players going because it's the biggest league. No, they got 105 players going, and as you can see there, it's definitely affected the league. Everton finished top, Tottenham in second, Arsenal in third, Swansea get the last Champions League spot, Liverpool and Norwich get Europe, Man City are in eighth, Chelsea are in 12th, and Manchester United get relegated. Now, I did not expect this when this was going to happen. Like, I just had no idea. Man U have actually the most players going from a World Cup, so they have 14 players gone. Chelsea have 12, Arsenal have 10, Liverpool and Man City both have 10 also. So if we look at the likes of Everton, they have generally their squad isn't going. So they still have Coleman, still have Stones, still have McGeady, Naismith, Pienaar. But I didn't think they had the quality to go up. I think Tottenham have a much better squad. They did. It was 1 point in it, but if you look at Tottenham's squad, They've got a very nice squad. Kyle Walker obviously injured. Michael Dawson, Churcher is Romania didn't go. Danny Rose, Lamella, left out of the Argentina squad. They got Sandro left out of the Brazilian squad. Ericsson, who's from Denmark, who didn't qualify. Soldado, they bought Dumbia, but I thought they should have done a lot better. They should have won it this year. Um, Arsenal still showing that they can do it without their players, star players. But obviously they still got Chesney, still got Ramsey and Arteta and Walcott due to injuries, and Gibson, well Bentner. But they did all right there. But then you got shocks like Swansea. They come in fourth out of nowhere. They have most of their players didn't leave, so that's a good thing there. Liverpool, quite big players leaving like Suarez, Gerrard, Sturridge. So they brought in Danny Ings actually, and Aspas up front. They still got Coutinho though and Leiva because they were left out, along with Enrique and Agra and Skull have the sort of fortune of playing for lower like nations. But they did all right. Then Norwich out of nowhere doing well, just keeping the majority of their squad, I'm guessing. Then you got Man City coming with Rafa Benitez, but if you look, Joe Hart's not there, Company's not there, D'Amico is not there. They got Lescott and Stasic, centre backs. They still got Kolarov. Milner's not in the team. Aguero's not in the team. Jacko's not in the team. What else? Silva's not in the team. They still got Negredo and Nasri just because he was left out of the French squad, and Gareth Bale wearing Gael Clichy. But they could have done better, I think, with that squad. Like the squad they had, they should have done a lot better. Same goes with Chelsea, who's sitting bloody 12th. Have no idea how that's. They still got Czech. They did lose Cahill, Azpilicueta. Well, no, actually, they only lost that from the defence. But look at that. They lost most of their strikers. They lost Hazard. They lost Oscar. They lost Willian. Well, they've lost the newly Diego Costa and Torres actually, and Eto and Lukaku. So in a way, they've lost all of their strikers. They it doesn't look. They got Demba Ba is their only striker there. You can't even see the striker. Have I got my on unavailable? No, that's just they have one striker in the squad. That's a bit weird. But as you can see there, Mourinho's under pressure for finishing 12th. And then the shock is Man U get relegated. Like, to be fair, they did have quite an aging squad, but and then taking out all the big players didn't help. So you have you got like Mata going out, you got Van Persie going out, De Gea. They have Brad Friedel in goal. They got Rafael Vidic and Ferdinand centre backs. Butner, Darren Fletcher with Matty James, one of the youth project, Tom Cleverley, Giggs and Young, and then Donovan up front. Jesus Christ! So they get relegated, along with Southampton, actually, which is a pretty shock, and Crystal Palace. To be fair though, Southampton have been sort of suffering. To be fair, if you look at it, I think Lovren went to the World Cup, along with Luke Shaw. He went to the World Cup. Then you got Lambert. You don't have Jay Rodriguez still there, but you got Lallana taken out. You got what else is his name? There's some other players there. They get taken, but like they have a good core, I guess, but not the best to stay up in the league. So they go down too. If we look at the stats of the Premier League, Soldado sort of and Benteke, because they were both Soldado didn't make it. Benteke got injured, and like these players that normally don't really get a sniff, but because the big players are gone, they actually get a chance. Along with like Lamella, Ramsey obviously, but he's Welsh, so he doesn't get much of a chance otherwise. Gareth Barry with the highest average rating, which is weird. But yeah, and if we look at the Championship as well, I think they got affected a bit. Wigan, Huddersfield, and Watford go up. Derby go down, which is surprising. QPR lost a few players, so they're in ninth, obviously. I don't think the other leagues are really that affected. If you look at the FA Cup, Newcastle won it over Sunderland 3-2, though. Imagine that for a final. Whew. And then the Capital One Cup, Tottenham win that. So, and Man U win the Community Shield. So, I wanted your opinion on this, whether this is a good thing, whether I should continue it on, keep going a few more years, and when I should do the updates every year, every 2 years, what? So see how it goes. and give updates on the players or whatnot. Anyone you want to look at really, because I have the 5 leagues open. See if certain players like are doing well or where they are transfer wise. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been Alex, and I'll see you guys later.